Hello everyone, this is Diane. Hopefully I'll be making some ephemera today for the back to school journals. I have just spent some time die cutting some pieces. I have used some of these pieces from the Tim Holtz set called Labels. I love these little medallions. So that's what I mostly cut, but I did some of those too. In primary colors and brown. And I did some buttons from the Creative Expressions Shabby Buttons. So I've got a bunch of those. And then I did some Tim Holtz numbers from one of his sets. And this is an old set that has brackets and question mark and ampersand, things like that. Different designs of brackets and parentheses. I don't remember. I got them at A.C. Moore. So that was a long time ago. So I don't remember who manufactured that. So anyway, I have all of those pieces. Let me show you what I did yesterday, because I did make some ephemera yesterday. I took these magazine images of Margaret O'Brien, a child actress in the 40s, and just glued them to paper. This was a back to school article, and there's a large one. Where did I put that? Here it is. This was the large image on the page, and I backed this one to a heavier scrapbook paper with, looks like a ledger, and added a little piece of quilt to the top. I think you've seen that pocket and this. I made those another day. I made these two tags. These children were cut from a children's reader, and then all of these other pieces, well, there's a Tim Holtz number, but these other pieces were cut from a vintage paper doll book. I think it was on the cover because they were heavier pieces. And I made this with a piece of cardstock, and I stamped these numbers and cut them out, and I used this from a Tim Holtz set. And cut one out as a plus sign, and then I cut 3 of the bars out to make the line there. Added a strip of paper and this little boy from the book We Love Kindergarten. I'll put something on the top of that. And another large tag. So these large things are going to be for the large journal with the school bus cake on the front. This is from a really old children's math book, and I had cardstock, and I added this orange lined paper to it, and then I added some strips of the plaid and just kind of wove just a little bit there. And I did some library cards. These are die cuts. These are cut from a reproduction Dick and Jane book. His elbow didn't get glued down. So this is one of the medallions that I already had cut in my stash. I just cut it in half. And this one I put the medium-sized medallion behind him. And this number was in my stash, a die cut. And I did make a couple pockets for the big book. I'm going to make a pocket on the front, back this with cardstock, and put it in the pocket. Of course, I can't put it here. I was going to put it here, but then I decided to just make a pocket and tuck it in there. But I did make a pocket here with this image cut from a children's craft book. And I put her on blue cardstock and then a piece of patterned cardstock. So it's a double pocket. This is a KB and Friends card, and I think you may have seen this vintage flash card with a yo-yo on it. And I'm going to make another card, like a companion card for this pocket, to go in the third signature. I'll show you something I made for the second signature, and that is this pocket from a children's school book. Looks like they're outside heading into school. This little boy is holding his teacher's hand. And this is from a Dick and Jane workbook. I glued a piece of math paper, children's math school book paper, arithmetic, to cardstock and punched it out to make a tab. So the other pocket is going to go here. And it's a little boy cut from that craft book. I think it's called McCall's Make It. I had glued him to blue cardstock, just like the little girl. Let me show you her again. And then I cut it out, and then I forgot that, oops, it's this one. I left a lot of space around her to make it a sturdier pocket, and I like the way it looks. So I thought, well, I did that wrong, but it'll still work. But I decided I want to go ahead and make, I'll just glue them to another piece. These are lightweight cardstocks. And I'll cut this one bigger around him. And then he'll be on a brown pocket. I don't know how much room I can leave around the bottom. I can't leave much room here, but I can leave room around him. I'm going to round the corners of the pocket. That's straight. That edge isn't quite straight. That's better. And put a KB and Friends card in here. And one of these large tags that I made. Mostly what I want to do is just make a pile of different pieces of ephemera and then decorate the books. But I know that these large things have to go in the large book. So I'm just adding them in. This goes in the third signature. Okay, then I have these library pockets to decorate. And I have these cut from KB and Friends Digitals to put on the front, but I could take a little scrap of the plaid cardstock to put behind it. I always forget the measurement for these little pockets. It's 3 3/8 by 2.5. So I will cut it to, let's try 2 3/8 by 3 and see if that's too big. Well, I did the width wrong. So the 2 3/8 was right. No, this is going to be the width, right? No, that can be the height. Okay, sorry. 2 3/8 by 3 1/8, I guess. Okay, that's good. I might as well do 2 of those because I have 2 of these, so that is a good color. Might as well do it while I have the numbers in my head. I don't think I need to do anything else to those. Not at this part anyway. Okay, I don't think I'll put any paper behind that because it takes up, that's the same size as the paper I cut, so it's just going to be this. Okay, so these are the library pockets. And I'll just slip a piece of paper, library card, but they're not really cards. They're cute. I like them. These will just go in other pockets. I have this that I cut from a children's book. I'm just going to back that onto some cardstock for journaling. Or even this paper, because this is not super thin paper. That would be good enough. So that's just a simple journaling spot there. I don't need to do anything else to that. I have these 2 pages that came from school books that I think I'll just back and put them in a book as journaling cards. Let me see if this would go. Yeah, that would work in there. This would have to go in the bigger book, I think. So I don't need to do that right now, but I'll just back those. And I might sew around them because they're, you know, there's no color on them. So I might just add some interest by sewing around them. My paper trimmer did a hatchet job on that. So those are some more journal cards that I can do. Let's just decorate a couple more tags using some of these pieces that I cut. We have these tags. I'll just make 3 of these because these are smaller, and I'm making bigger tags for the other book. So my first thing to do is to select images, and then I can pick out some of the embellishments. This would make a cute pocket. This is the last piece from the paper doll book. Look at that. I'll turn that into a pocket with some cardstock. This could be a journaling card or a pocket. So I had a miniature book of this McCall's Crafts. I think it's called McCall's Make It book. And so I had a miniature book. That's the same picture that I made a big pocket out of. I like this. This girl is, there are several pictures of this girl. First, there's one putting on this new school dress, and then they're getting ready to go to school. And then she goes to school and discovers that her friend has the same dress. Just looking for something that I can cut out. I don't want to cut any of these. These are a little big, I think. She's hanging up her coat. That'll go on a bigger tag than that one. Oh, this is a die cut. I could use this. Maybe I'll have to look in my Dick and Jane workbooks. Well, when I got up to go get these Dick and Jane workbooks, I bumped the camera and knocked it off kilter, and I guess I didn't realize it. So the rest of the video was a bad angle. So let me just show you. This is the book that I cut one image out of, and it was this little girl getting something out of the refrigerator. And I cut part of the door. It was a big door that was open there. I cut that. So I just cut it out of here. That's the only thing that I took from that, because I already had two images. So these are the tags I made. I used a strip of the plaid paper, and it was the same plaid for all of them. One of my die cut buttons and a die cut number for each. And one of the, what did I call those? It was a die cut. And I took some words from this collection of words that I haven't used in a long time. So I wanted to tell you these words are from Junk Journal Studio, the Junk Journal Studio on Etsy. And they come in vertical and horizontal, and they come in different sizes and different colors. So I'll try to link that shop. And I don't know how many sets I bought. I don't know what is included. I don't remember what is included in one set, but I know the horizontal and the vertical are separate. And some of the colors might be separate. I don't remember. So that's where I got these little words, just to do the finishing touch. They just look like friends, so I used the word friendship. So that is what I did for the rest of that video. But since I'm back and I cut out a big chunk of video, I'm just going to go ahead and make a couple of pockets. This was a little square book page, so I just cut around one edge of it, and I'm going to make a little corner pocket out of this. I went to the Sayre Theater. It takes, oh, I don't know, about 5 minutes to walk to the theater from where I live now, and I want to take advantage of that. So I did a matinee today. I went to see Freakier Friday. And 2 of the previews that we saw before the movie started were movies that I'm waiting for. One of them is the Downton Abbey movie, and that's coming next month. And the other one is the second part of The Wizard of Oz, or Wicked, the second part of Wicked. That's coming in November. And that will be when we get, it'll be after we get back from Disney World. And I know my mother wants to see both of those movies. She also wants to see the Jurassic World. I don't remember the name of it. We didn't get to see it in the theater. I was just way too busy. It was out soon after I moved. So she's going to wait till it's available for streaming, and then we'll rent it, and I'll bring her here to watch it. So we'll be doing some movie watching this fall, my mother and I. Oh, I didn't talk about this. This is that group of children. I don't remember if I showed it in the video prior to when I had to delete. But this is just a bunch of children at school doing some sort of a game, going around in a circle. And I just thought that would be an adorable pocket. Well, I guess we've got a little cut here, so I'm going to shape the top. I don't think that will work in the Dick and Jane book, but hopefully it'll be a good size for, ooh, I'll have to trim a little bit. The pattern books. I have 2 of the pattern books. Looking for something with a blue. I think I used a lot of brown in this one because it's got the brown cover. This one should have some blue. Oh, this has a lot of red and orange in it, so that would look cute there. Yeah, I think I like it better on this, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue that there. That is in the second signature. And that is perfect for this one. said this would make a good pocket. And I think I do need, oops, I do need more pockets in this journal. That's just about the perfect size, but I want to make it taller. Don't know if I should use another plaid. I like this. I think it looks good. But yeah, I think I will. Another thing I want to use for backgrounds is some school book pages. But because this is a whitish background and the school book page would be a white background, I think this is a better option. I need to cut this piece. Sorry, bang clanging around. This is 7.5 inches. So I cut it 7.25 inches. And that fits. I think it would be fun to put some rickrack across the top of that. And I think I'll sew this on. Just going to glue it in the middle. And I'm going to sew around this, and then I'll sew some rickrack on. I'll be right back. I sewed around, the zigzag stitch around, and then I used this leaf stitch for the center part that was blank and put on a grayish blue rickrack. I'm going to want to do some stamping on some of these blank pages. I should do that before I put too much on the one side. Actually, I'm going to want to put a ruffle here, or lace or something. And I already have a pocket in the first half of the signature, so I'm going to put this back here. change of plans. And I know I stamped on that page. I'm not really sure how much time I have, because I don't remember how much was left on the video after I deleted. But I'm going to look for a stamp to do something here. I have this paint by number set from Tim Holtz. I haven't even used that one. I've used some of the numbers. They're a little bit distressed because they are Tim Holtz numbers. You can see that's how they're designed. And there we go. Well, I did want a pocket to put this in. That's right. I did want to put a pocket here, but you know what I could do is make this a pocket. I'd still be able to have the trim there. No, that's what's causing the bulge. But if I back this to some cardstock, I could make this a pocket like that. We're going to get this in here. But I think I will leave you here. And I don't know what the next video will be, but there will be one. I'll be back. I want to try to get these done next week. Today is Saturday that I'm working on this. I want to get them done next week. Done and in the shop, because we're drawing to the end of August, and I know some kids are already in school. So I don't want to miss out on being able to get these in your hands before or when you want them. So hopefully we'll get there. And I will see you in the next video, and have a creative day. Bye.